Shri Rajesh Bhushan ji, Secretary Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Sunil Kumar, Director General Health Services, Madam Vandana Gurnani, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, Health and Family Welfare, Shri Vishal Chauhan, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Dr. P.K. Sen, Principal Advisor, Director General Health Services, Dr. Shiv Kumar Sareen, Senior Professor and Director, ILBS, Dr. Sudhir Gupta, Senior Chief Medical Officer, Directorate General Health Services, Dr. L. Swasti Charan, Additional Deputy Director General, PGHS, Dr. Umesh Kapil, Professor ILBS, Dr. Pradeep Khasnobis, Chief Medical Officer, NFSG, DGHS, Dr. Sunil Savankar, Public Health Specialist, our NCD team consultants. I understand that there are a lot of very, very important people from all over the country who are connected today. Many of the health secretaries from various states and union territories, additional chief secretaries, mission directors, and of course the nodal officers for the program for prevention and control of the non-communicable diseases in the country, media people, representatives from the medical organizations, medical associations. As has been said by the earlier speakers, it is a very, very historic day, and of course a very, very satisfying day. All my life I have always propagated and worked for strengthening the preventive, promotive, and positive health aspects of the healthcare scenario. I remember I started my practice as a consultant ENT surgeon 38 years back. And though directly liver diseases are not my domain, which I practiced as a consultant, but I know that many of the things, in fact, which prevent one disease or the other, they prevent this disease. Also, they prevent everything else across the spectrum of diseases in the whole scenario of body's health. And when I look back at those 38 years, apart from the time when I became a minister, all the years, even while being in public life as a MLA, but when not minister, even while holding important responsibilities in the organization at the national level, I never stopped going to the clinic. I never stopped going to the operation theatre. I never stopped practicing and seeing patients. And when I look back and analyze, my most important prescriptions used to be where I would write in huge capital letters, no medication required. And then on the left side of the prescription, I will write in Hindi, cigarette, बीड़ी, तंबाकू, शराब, सुपारी, pan masala, and then put a big cross over them, and below that write 440 volts, and tell the people that if you can avoid many of these things and then focus only on some physical exercises and good diet, you can keep yourself away from most of the diseases. And if we really get into the nitty gritty of many of these diseases, including the non alcoholic fatty liver disease, which we are trying to highlight through the launching of this new program for prevention of these diseases and integrating it, or maybe giving it a little more focus in our national program for prevention of non-communicable diseases. We are trying to actually reassert what is being done for other diseases, because what helps you in the fatty liver, it helps you in the management of diabetes also, it helps you in the management of hypertension also, it helps you in the management of cardiovascular diseases also, it helps you in virtually everything. And that is why we have seen that the focus of this government right from 2014 has been to strengthen as much as possible the preventive and the promotive and the positive health aspects. The Ayushman Bharat scheme, where one component is of course to ensure that you treat the poorest of the poor and give them and don't allow them to be deprived of the healthcare services if they unfortunately fall sick because of huge big illnesses requiring tertiary care and attention. Otherwise, the major focus of that is the creation of the health and wellness centers. It is not that the facilities never existed. At the ground level, there are everything is there. The community health centers are there, primary health centers are there, sub centers are there. We used to read about these in our textbooks of social and preventive medicine. And we used to pass our exam describing what is a primary health center, what is the population which will have a primary health center, what is the population for a sub center, and all this. So all these things existed, but the focus was changed. And today, when you report what is happening in the field, in the NHM, people will tell you that even when we answer and inform the parliament, we are told 1 crore screenings have been done for, say, cancer breast, 1 crore, 2 crore screenings have been done for, say, to detect hypertension. We know as a doctor how much important it is to detect even a case of hypertension, because many and most of the cases of hypertension in this country may remain undiagnosed for years together. Many patients will remain undiagnosed with untreated diabetes. I don't get into whether it's a type 2 or juvenile diabetes or whatever, but a large number of people before these programs were not launched, or maybe because there is a renewed focus now in the country. It's not that it is only because of our government, but overall the situation has changed in the last 1, 2, 3 decades. Overall perspective of health and the consciousness for health, it has got enhanced over the years. What I used to see 25, 30 years back when I was health minister in Delhi, there is a huge difference since then. And the focus of this government at most of the places is to ensure that we have these health and wellness centers where, apart from providing treatment at the grassroots level, providing them with drugs, providing them with diagnostics, but also to ensure that we are creating that small social movement around health issues, involving the grassroots health workers, involving the NGOs there, involving the principals, school teachers, all of them there, and create that movement. So this particular program, and now this is not that it is not being, it is the only thing that is being done by this government. We remember that in, it is not that people never knew about yoga, but our government even went up to the extent of highlighting the issue at the United Nations. And today, all over the world on 21st June, everybody, I think all across the world now, is focusing on yoga. When I used to work with WHO, a lot of my friends from abroad, they used to ask me, can you suggest me a good place where I can come in India and learn some yoga in the best possible way, or maybe where I know that I have got a cardiac disease, coronary artery disease. I have been advised things like yoga, and I want to have access to the best possible places. And it's not only yoga. Then the Fit India movement came. I worked very actively for the Eat Right India campaign. I know how diligently FSSAI worked for the Eat Right India campaign. For almost 250 days, I have myself at 8 o'clock in the morning put a tweet around Eat Right India. So we have tried to, in this government, create a, and now we are in the active process of revamping and restructuring and redefining the working and the goals of the Central Health Education Bureau, which we feel is an organization which can produce dramatic reforms in the health sector. And I have myself experienced the importance of this while having worked for the health ministry in Delhi. We have seen how much the school children are important, how much they contribute to the success of the national programs. It is not only the health workers, but nobody has ever evaluated the success or the role. I still remember that in 95 or 96, there was some survey done by an international agency about the success of the polio program in Delhi in 94. And they at that time said the biggest credit for the success would go to two specific categories. They at that time mentioned the school children and the Anganwadi workers. Means they are the like people who would actually take that message home, and for everything that is strengthening prevention, that is strengthening the positive health attitudes in the society. I think this is another trigger to actually work more for that. I know for Dr. Sareen, it may be a personal dream realized, because I have been watching him working in this particular field since the time I was health minister in Delhi. He was a professor in G.V. Pant Hospital. And he used to, like mad person, run from pillar to post to create the ILBS. And we never thought that this ILBS will be created one day. But he did not rest till the ILBS was created. And he is desperately after everyone for making a law on hepatitis. He is going to the speaker, he is going to everybody. He has been with the he has been after the health ministry. Not that the health ministry is indifferent to all these things, but if somebody pushes hard, then the trigger, it helps in expediting things, because health ministry has 101 things. And of course I've seen Dr. Kapil working for issues like nutrition and all. since the time I was health minister in Delhi. So I have noticed that the success of this particular programs in the health, these programs is because of the dedication and commitment of large number of sincere doctors who are not doing their profession in a routine manner. They are doing it with passion. I am happy that before these guidelines have been launched, various stakeholders have been, you see, brought into focus. We have discussed with the medical associations also, because it is very important to bring the medical associations into focus. Dr. Sareen would recall that I was the first one who declared the 8 years back, who declared that the Delhi Medical Association Hall, which is a more than 100 years old organization, it would be a no smoking zone. And during my presidency, there, that is probably the only year which unfortunately I feel that nobody actually followed that so sincerely. After that, I ensured that the 365 days of my presidency there will be without serving alcohol in any function in any way. And we used to see that the participation of doctors and their families, it increased threefold times, because the ladies were happy coming to the function, the children were happy coming to those functions, and they thought that they will probably get better attention if the alcohol is not served there. So the message is that apart from the guidelines, ultimately the guidelines, it's not only the poor health worker or the ASHA worker who is supposed to be implementing this. We have not made these. These guidelines are, this is first the medical professionals in the country and those who are at the helm of affairs. They have to practice what we are preaching in the guidelines. And I am not happy with the statement that Dr. Sareen made, that 75 minutes of exercise in a week. I think it's not going to help in any way, because I am personally a promoter of a very strong exercise, or a walking or a jogging or a gymming or a cycling schedule every day. It can't be 75 days in a week. I don't subscribe to even the WHO theory, when in 2002 they said that if you walk for 20 minutes, let's walk for health. They said in 2002 on 7th of April. And they said that if you walk for 20 minutes is perfectly fine. I don't think it ever helps anybody. You have to be walking at least 45 minutes. Personally, I walk 75 minutes in the morning, 75 minutes in the evening, but I don't advocate that everybody should walk that much. But at least, even if you have to have a modest exercise, you have to have at least 1 hour daily. Minimum modest is 1 hour daily. And if you can't find that 1 hour for yourself, you may choose what you want to do. You may want to do active exercises, you may want to do cycling, you may want to walk, you may want to walk briskly, you may want to go to gym, but that is a must. It will help you for everything. It will once you start reducing your weight, you start getting rid of all this cholesterol and fat and everything from everywhere. And obviously liver is the master organ. I think it is rightly said that people give more attention to heart, but if the liver is not functioning well, the heart can never be functioning well. Heart will stop the day liver stops doing its job properly. So, and the very fact that we are giving now attention, everybody knows that alcohol will cause cirrhosis and all those issues in the body, but not many people know that if you are not an alcoholic, Even a non-alcoholic can also, if you have other risk factors, if your diet is not proper, if you are not concentrating on exercises and things like that, then you can develop this non-alcoholic liver disease, and which ultimately will lead to things like cirrhosis and then predisposition for cancer, etc. And the numbers that have been proposed, it's 1 billion people suffering from that all over the world, and in India, 1 to 3 people out of every 10 likely to be suffering from this. If this is the number that is being proposed by the experts, so it's not a small number which can be overlooked or ignored. It requires urgent and very focused attention. There would be a need, Dr. Sunil Kumar, for monitoring what is being done. I'm sure Vandana ji and Dr. Sunil Kumar will also continuously monitor with, and of course, all our nodal officers who are there in the virtual mode connected to us. I would suggest that all of you should ensure that in your personal lifestyle also, and in the personal lifestyle of all your colleagues in the departments at the grassroots level, they are also motivated to actually help in the implementation of these guidelines. And I would suggest that at the grassroots level, there should be a mechanism to formally, informally uh, meet the principals of the schools in that area. Whether it's a primary school run by a government system, whether it's a private school, it may not be written in your guideline like the way, but all my life, whenever I spoke to the doctors in the medical association, I had always told the doctors that my definition of a good doctor is not the one who has a huge big bank balance, or who has a big nursing home where you have to put patients on the floor also, and there is a long queue of patients. That is not my definition of a good doctor. My definition of a good doctor is the doctor whose presence itself makes the society in the adjoining area so much health aware, conscious, educated, that diseases start vanishing in the area. The incidence of all the diseases starts uh, going down, and this can go down once you, if you spare even half an hour every week and just informally meet over a cup of tea some of the relevant people in the society in your vicinity, and talk to them about all these preventive things, and convey through them to the various stakeholders in the society. How do they keep themselves healthy? Everybody actually wishes to keep himself healthy. Nobody is happy going to a doctor or a clinic or a nursing home or a hospital. The only thing that needs to be done is to educate them properly, give them the right guidance, and then, of course, monitor it on a continuous basis. And for doctors, obviously, they have to be role models doing all that, and practicing first what they are preaching to the society. So it's a happy occasion. Congratulations, everybody, and thanks all my team here, and team of Dr. S.K. Sareel, Dr. Kapil, DGHS, our National Health Mission people, and the people in the states, and of course, once again, an appeal to the friends in the Indian Medical Association and other association of medical professionals, that this is a very, very important part of the program for prevention of non-communicable diseases, and it should be given the utmost importance and utmost attention. And certainly we can see a lot of changes happening. I have said it on number of occasions that India with its very powerful DNA, India with its very powerful ancient medical wisdom, and India with its very strong experience, we have seen, being a big country, we have been able to eradicate, like other countries, smallpox, we could eradicate polio. We have been able to uh, show to the world a very convincing, we are inching towards victory in our fight against COVID. And this has all happened because of the potential of our medical community and the people, their commitment. So, uh, we, I am confident that if at all ever a successful model for health for all, which is the dream of WHO for at least 5 decades, we have been hearing in WHO, let there be a health for all. By that, there used to be a talk about health for all by the year 2000. But whenever it comes, I am sure that India has the capability to be able to create that model, which can be emulated by the others. And programs like this, I think they will play a very key role. This prevention is, it is not only helping this program which is being produced today. We are highlighting this, but these preventive steps are going to help us in many diseases ultimately. And if you have a healthy liver, you have a healthy metabolism, and if you have a healthy metabolism, you have every organ of the body is healthy, and that's, I think, the key to achieving good health. So, wish you all good health, and let's hope that we'll monitor this program also very aggressively and see some good results in future times. Thank you so much.